Good morning, Jim Laird, joining you live from Grand Pacifica, Nicaragua. It is a beautiful day here, but it is super windy. So I'm joining you today from my outdoor kitchen and not up on my balcony, because if I was up on the balcony, you wouldn't be able to hear me because of the wind. We're finishing up summer here, which is kind of weird, coming from the US where we're going into summer. We're about to enter the rainy season here in a couple weeks, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing that. From what I hear, the lightning shows and things like that are absolutely incredible. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Probably do some Instagram lives from my balcony during some of those light shows that happen over the ocean. So I'm really looking forward to that. I guess it rains for 2 or 3 hours here, like torrential monsoon type deal. And then the rest of the day, it's kind of like a steam room with wind. So it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing all the plants shoot up like rocket ships here. So that'll be a lot of fun. This next week, Dr. Stillman and I will be getting back to our regular schedule. And this week, next Thursday, or this Thursday, it'll be light sauna and phototherapy. We've been having some issues with the time zone, like what to set it at. It's getting it all confused because I'm in Nicaragua and I'm 2 hours behind because we don't follow daylight savings here. So we'll figure it out. It's supposed to be at 10 o'clock, but if you don't actually sign into the live lesson, you'll be able to watch the replay. So our apologies for that. I'm talking to StreamYard, trying to figure out how to set that up properly, but we'll figure it out. So today's topic: why do most people fail/struggle? And in my career, and also in working with Dr. Stillman, I attract traditionally overachievers, essentially people that are pursuing excellence. Most of these people work really hard. Our modern life, the reason most people struggle or fail is they just really don't understand how much chronic stress they're under. They're like, oh, my life's not that hard. It's not that difficult. And that might be true. You're not doing bricklaying. You're not doing manual labor. You're not building homes. I would argue that low-level manual labor all day is actually therapeutic for human beings. We're designed to do low-level manual labor. What our body's not designed for, if you read Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by Robert Sapolsky, is the chronic stress of traffic, the chronic stress of scrolling through the internet, the chronic stress of work stress, of having deadlines and constantly having phone calls. And, even myself doing a coaching call or a podcast for an hour, doing a couple podcasts. You do 1 or 2 podcasts in a day, plus a couple group coaching calls. And psychologically, and from a breathing standpoint, when you're talking for an hour, that's a lot of over breathing, and that gets your system revved up. And so a lot of people just don't understand. They're trying to be, they're trying to work out, plus they're trying to run a business, plus they're trying to raise a family. They got all these things rolling at the same time. And eventually they just run out of gas, and then they drive their car off the side of the road. And essentially that's what I did to myself back in 2008, 2009. And needless to say, people are not spending any time outside. You really don't understand how much stress the modern Western, particularly the United States, how much stress that actually is on people until you've lived in another culture, until you've lived in somewhere more laid back, like here in Nicaragua. They call it Nika time here. And, when I go to dinner now, if it takes 20, 30 minutes to get my food, I'm fine with that. I actually enjoy it. I actually like sitting down and relaxing. In the United States, you go to a restaurant, if you haven't had your food in 30 minutes, people are, starting to get restless. They're checking their phone. They're like asking the waiter, where's the food? They're starting to get upset. Here, it's just part of the culture. People they don't get in a rush. They don't get in a hurry. And that's incredibly calming, so to speak. Once you adopt that attitude that, hey, it doesn't have to get done right now, and a lot of people have a hard time prioritizing themselves, and they put everyone else ahead of themselves. And I compare modern life to kind of sitting in your driveway with the engine on in your car and revving the living hell out of it all day, and not driving anywhere. But then you wonder why your engine is malfunctioning and it's not running well. You haven't driven the car anywhere, but you've revved the hell out of it all day. And no wonder it's burned through a lot of fuel. No wonder it's not running well. You actually haven't gone anywhere, but you've revved the living heck out of it, which is essentially what happens in your mind when you can't calm yourself down. That's why we're a really big fan of the Aura Ring. One, because you can wear it in airplane mode. And two, it actually shows people how much chronic stress they're actually under. You've got a respiratory rate of 16, 17, 18, 15 and above. That just means you can't relax. And you're stuck in this breathing pattern of breathing with your neck and your traps, which leads to digestive issues, hormone dysregulation, all these other things. You're not spending enough time in nature. You're not calming down. I love working hard. Trust me, I'm going to go train today and I'm going to train really hard. But I also make, like, after I do this live, I'm going to go take 5 or 10 minutes. I'm going to sit outside in the sun and I'm going to turn on some calm music, or I'm just going to sit there, calm my mind, breathe through my nose, and slow myself down. I got this concept from Paul Chek when I ended up getting ulcerative colitis, called working in. You got to work in so you can work out. And it's the old yin and the yang balance, right? And we've completely obliterated that with our constant scrolling. And people will say, well, people are lazy. Yes, people don't do as much physical activity anymore. But I would say the mental stress is just as hard or even harder on someone as the physical stress. The physical stress actually has redeeming properties, particularly at low level. And then if you have great general physical preparedness, when you do encounter excessive physical stress, you're able to handle those stressors. So not only have we got people that have zero physical preparedness, but are mentally and emotionally exhausted, then they're going to the gym, which they have no general physical preparedness to handle the workouts that they're doing. And that's just even a bigger stress, which leads to even more overeating and more alcohol consumption, more, chasing dopamine. And it just kind of leads to this chronic hole digging. And people get caught in this loop of like, well, I've got to do more. I've got to train more. I've got to do more in order to get a result, because these people have just, if I work harder, obviously I'm going to get a better result. It's kind of like trying to push a car in park. You can push as hard as you want. It ain't going anywhere until you put it in neutral. And so a lot of what I do with people and with myself is, okay, are you taking the time for you? Are you taking the time for silence? Particularly busy mothers that have, a number of children, running kids all over the place. Are you taking the time to take 5 or 10 minutes and just sit calmly, quietly? When the kids take a nap, do you slow down and take a nap, or do you try and cram a whole bunch of work into that half an hour, 45 minutes? So you got to start putting yourself first and get yourself in a rested state so you can actually recover. And a lot of people, you'll see their high respiratory rate follow them into sleep, where they've got high resting heart rate, high respiratory rate, low HRV in their sleep, and their body's not actually getting a chance to actually shut off. They're going to bed exhausted. And a lot of times that's the only way they can go to sleep, is if they're exhausted. So I really like doing things like mind dumping, basically sitting down with a piece of paper before bed and dumping everything out on a piece of paper. I like doing things like crocodile breathing or child's pose breathing to get people to slow their breathing down and relax before they go to bed. It's good to have a wind down ritual. Obviously, getting the lights off at night is super important. Getting outside in the morning and throughout the day so that you have a good circadian rhythm. So when the sun goes down, it's time to go to sleep. A lot of people, when the sun goes down, is when they start ramping it up. The TV goes on, the computer stays on. A lot of people do a lot of their work in the evening, and then they have problems sleeping. And if your sleep's not in a good place, you're going to have a really hard time getting yourself in a better place. So a lot of times, for a lot of people, it's a matter of emotionally, spiritually slowing down and being present and in the moment. And our modern world just pulls us out of that state. So there's just a few thoughts for you. Be still and know. Take some time to make time for you and to relax and slow your breathing down. Put the tongue in the roof of your mouth, breathe through your nose and be calm. Slow your breathing right down. Feel your neck muscles relax. Feel yourself going to a state of relaxation so that when you do need to push, you can. And be selective. If you know you're going to have a couple hard weeks, take some time after that, or schedule some time for relaxation, for massage, for acupuncture, for restorative yoga, float tank, those things during those really hard weeks to help you get through it. Outsource things to your kids, outsource things to other people. These are all things that you can do to help you get in a better place. Make sure you go check out Nika Barbell website, nikabarbell.com. that's basically will tell you about the gym I'm building here in Gran Pacifica, Nicaragua. Got a couple pretty good podcasts coming up that I'm going to be on, so I'm excited about that. Selling t-shirts, basically to remind people to get outside. Coffee mugs, t-shirts. All the proceeds go towards building the gym and then also helping the local community here. I've sponsored a local baseball team. I've helped some people with some different home repairs. So part of the proceeds go to that, and the rest of the proceeds go towards the gym. And the nice thing about being here in Nicaragua is money goes a lot further. So check that out. Appreciate your support on that. All those of you who've already bought shirts, we're getting a couple sales a day, which is great. Haven't really started promoting it much. So hopefully as time goes on, that will pick up momentum. I'm looking forward to getting the gym going here. So make sure you make the time for you today. There's a great app called Brainwave I listen to with wired headphones. It's got binaural beats on it. That really helps slow you down. There's all sorts of meditation apps you can use. But honestly, just go take a seat in nature, close your eyes, put the tongue in the roof of your mouth, and slow your breathing down and just live in the moment. And I think you'll notice a huge difference in the way you feel. So until next time, make the time to get outside, and you deserve it. Don't be a zoo animal. Take care.